Hello, and welcome to another BTFO. Today we're going to be talking about Bone Lake, a relatively new horror film. Uh, this one was put out by Bleecker Street, which is why I'm taking a little bit to get around to it. I was planning on covering Shelby Oaks, but unfortunately, I just wouldn't be able to see it in time for this week's BTFO. So hopefully next week's BTFO might be Shelby Oaks. It might be 2 weeks from now because next week is Halloween, and since it's spooky season, we're going to be covering horror movie Bone Lake, which I just saw in theaters. Because it's a new Bleecker Street horror movie, and Bleecker Street, I don't have a whole lot of faith in them when it comes to movies. Just, I don't know, with the exception of Relay, pretty much everything I have seen and noted from Bleecker Street has been bad. And this didn't really look all that great, but I thought, maybe it'll be fun. And to my pleasant surprise, it is fairly fun. I wouldn't say that it's great or anything. I think there's a lot of stuff that could be improved on. There's a level of campiness that they have in the movie. I wish they'd just dial it up a little bit. But the basic premise of this movie is that a couple goes to this like lake house verbo thing, and while they're there, another couple shows up, and so I find it kind of interesting because the description is like, oh, they fight each other for the home, and it's not really that. It's more so that the second couple, which I did think was interesting because the way they play it, it feels like throughout most of the movie they're like swingers. But they don't, like, that's not the case, and they don't ever really, like, try to play up that that's the case. But the second couple does kind of try and just manipulate the first couple throughout the movie, and they're, like, trying to get them to split up and leave and stuff like that. And some of it's kind of fun, where like you definitely especially with Diego's character, you end up relating to him quite a bit when like particularly Will gets up to like a lot of his shenanigans that he pulls. Though I will say the dialogue is where it's not the film's strong suit, because a lot of the dialogue is very, like, exposition heavy and, like, not super subtle. A lot of it is, hey, we need you as the audience to understand this point exactly as we're going for it. And it's like, okay, like, I guess, like, you know, it'd be nice if we could do this in a little bit more of a subtle way, but alright. And I don't know, the other thing that I would say as like a criticism is that I find it really odd that this movie, for being so much about like sex, there's very little nudity. There is nudity, but none of the main characters ever like show any nudity. Like they specifically brought in 2 other actors that you see in like flashbacks and photos that like they do nudity, and it's like, I don't know, that to me, I would be kind of curious whether that was they just, it couldn't have been that they couldn't have gotten any actors that were like willing to do nude, right? Like, but I don't know. It feels kind of weird because it's one of those things where like I will absolutely defend that like no, nudity is like a necessary part of some stories, where like Honora, right? That's a really weird movie if you cut out all the nudity. Like that's just it's like, oh, you kind of missed the point of the movie if you did that, but okay. And like they try to make a point of like, oh, isn't that just gratuitous? And it's like, I mean, considering how comfortable you are with violence in this movie, I feel like a little bit of nudity isn't going to be that bad. But yeah, I don't know. The movie is fairly good at like giving you a compelling plot, and it is interesting to see the way that like the couples are being manipulated or manipulative. And like I will say that there is one twist that I think they like reveal way too early. However, that does get like, I don't know, it's not the only twist, and so it's something where I'm like, I think you could have just held on to that one until you started revealing the other twists. Like, I think at that point it would have been okay. It's not a huge deal because the movie doesn't make a big deal out of it, but it is just sort of like you don't have the main characters discover it for a while, but the movie just tells you like probably about the start of like the second act. The movie's like, oh hey, by the way, here's a twist that our main characters don't know about. Now you as the audience know and like get to watch them figure it out. And it's like, oh, I mean, I think I could have just watched them figure it out, like, but thanks, I guess. And yeah, and I don't know, it's fairly good. It's fairly fun, especially with like the violence in the third act. I do wish, and you'll understand it if you've seen it, but I do wish that after one of the kills, I wanted the character to say something along the lines of like 3 bitch, like, but yeah, I don't know, it's a neat movie. I wouldn't say that it's like great, but it's competently executed. You know, there's really not a whole lot that stands out as like, ooh, that's bad. Like, I don't know if I'd go with that. And so would I recommend this? Yeah. Like, if you're looking for kind of a schlocky, a little bit campy horror movie, then like, yeah, I'd check it out. It never, I don't know, it sometimes waxes on a little bit of like, oh hey, like here's a theme, or like, you know, isn't this something to think about? But it doesn't outstay its welcome. It just kind of lightly pokes at like, hey, here might be a deeper idea. We're not really going to go into that, but like, just so you know, if you want something to think about, like here's something you could think about. And I was like, oh, okay, like, thanks. But so yeah, so I guess overall I would recommend this movie. Not a hard recommend. It's definitely not for everyone. It's not gonna make my top 10 list for sure, but like, you know, it's okay. It's pretty good. So thank you for watching, and bye.